you're having a good day. Doing a follow-up video on this Jacaranda tree. Alright, first things first, this is a lot of people say that Jacaranda is not a good subject for bonsai, and it really, I have to admit, it's really not. And then I hear some people say that the Royal Poinciana is a better subject, but this one has even bigger leaves than this guy has. But this one's just kind of going through its recovery process. I'll talk about that in a minute. I just wanted to point out that I was kind of using this as a resting pot here. And I actually, about a month ago, I went to go move it and adjust it, and it had roots all coming out of the bottom that I had to separate and trim. Kind of surprised it doesn't have any now. But I do just kind of, sometimes with all this extra room in the pot here, take and bury one of these pots off to the side, makes it to where it doesn't blow over so much. And then, this needs water every day, and so does this. So, when I water this one, it just kind of goes through and drains into this one. But this was, I buried this one in my yard. It was in my yard probably for around 2 years, maybe a year and a half or something like that. And I dug it up in February. I did do a video when I repotted it. I was kind of in an antisocial mood that day. It didn't seem like it was a video doing very well for me or whatever. But now it's doing really well. Maybe I should try not talking in a few of my videos. But, towards the end of February, beginning of March, I was really starting to get worried about it. There was a bud. Well, it's on the other side, and then there's one here, and then there was another one right down in here somewhere. All three of those dried up, and these up here were looking just super limp, like an old man that needs some Viagra and stuff. But they started kind of like improving a bit. I've seen I've seen a couple of these trees die. I think I had 4 at one point, and a couple of them just got really attacked by aphids and scale. A couple of them were suffering a little bit from some neglect from me. So I didn't really see the value of them in that time yet. But when they're dead, they look like an old man that Viagra is never going to help. So I could tell that there was still some life left in it. About 2 weeks ago, the rains really started coming in for us. And these guys really kind of perked up a bit. They still, at certain times of the day, like this morning, they were all looking a lot better. Right now, they all kind of look, just have that kind of wilted look to them. As a matter of fact, when I put it back out there, I'm going to try to put it to where it gets just a little more shade than it has been getting. I mean, you can see this guy's growing just fine. That was repotted right around the same time, but that was just repotted. This guy was dug up out of the ground. And around here, I mean, my ground is not good. It probably has some nematodes that it needs to get rid of now. It was covered in ants too. That's another reason why I didn't really talk through that video. I'm going to do some work to this guy's little sister, I guess, now, or whatever. I'm not going to do much with this one other than I did have this rock sitting here on a root, holding it down. It kept bouncing up some. You can't really see it bouncing that much in the video, but you can kind of tell why I set that rock in there. It seems to be in there steady now. So I'll go ahead and put some substrate on top of that root. And just leave that rock off there for now. Right there is where that one bud was. There was another little bud here. And then I have noticed, since those rains did start coming in, it's got this bigger branch here with just one good branch on it, or one good leaf on it. And then this one has 3, but it's sprouted one right in the middle of all of them. And although it looks healthy, it would really just kind of get shaded out there. And this is one time where I wanted to put its energy into recovering, especially this one here. I want it to grow out that scar, and that's on the other side from these two. So I'll just let this guy recover further. I'm going to go ahead and get his sister. All right, and here's the one. I've had this one in the pot for a while. It's the one that I do most of my videos on. Believe it or not, that other one was actually kind of spindly and about dead compared to how this one looked. That's why I put that one in the ground, kept this one in a pot. And then of course in the ground that one took off. I mean, part of here in Florida, you grow in the ground and obviously it'll get huge or whatever. Part of the problem is you wind up with, like I said before, nematodes, ants, and then because the ground here is mostly sand, when you go to dig it up, it really doesn't have much of a root ball that comes up with it. You can see that in the other guy's video when I dug it up or whatever, because all the sand just falls right off the roots, and then you just got to kind of count on getting it back in, getting the roots sorted out and some better substrate, and hope it survives. But anyhow, I haven't done a video on this one for, since I think December, maybe early January. I might have done a quick prune on it or whatever. Cutting back on the top quite a bit, just pinching and stuff. I'm going to show you a spot where I pinched once I cut it off here in a second. But I've been trying to observe these, and like my neighborhood and everything right now, they're kind of hard to pick out because there's like probably 6-7 trees around that if they're not in bloom, sometimes it's hard to tell. Is that a jacaranda, mimosa, whatever? But right now they're all blooming purple, so I can tell. But they do, none of them really have a traditional, so we say up north kind of a tree look to it or anything like that. They all have kind of a central spot, and then just like all the branches kind of come. And I've even seen some where there's like 9-10 sub branches, but there is always like one in the middle that seems to kind of take over the rest of them. And so I've been trying to pinch back on this middle part, just trying to tame it a little bit. And plus, I would like these other branches to kind of start getting, like trunk type thick or whatever, so they're just not little spindly ones here. Most of this, I have had it wired a couple times, but most of this is just me holding these down with guy wires to keep them all from kind of coming up collectively and looking like a big, but here I am going to cut off. I got one branch coming off here with 2 good sub branches. This one had a little dieback, so I'll just take the end of that off. Let that just kind of continue dying back. This part here is really weak, but you can see it's also getting shaded out by the rest of the trees. So what I'm doing today, that should help that a little bit too. I'll even cut just this one branch off here, or branch, that's just a leaf, kind of coming over there and shading that out. And then this branch actually has like 3 sub branches coming off of it. Well, actually I do want to take that middle one out, as that was out of the way a little bit, and hopefully it'll just focus this energy on the other 2. They look a lot stronger anyhow. And then I got this one coming off, just this one branch on there, nothing else. This one's the lowest one. It's dead. I was leaving it on there just to see if it would rebound a little bit, just barely a little bit of green coming out of the side. Most of it's brown there, so hopefully that'll just kind of heal. And then basically that's it. Got this main apex, and I got this branch coming off this way. I've even pinched these branches here a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of take off that whole thing there. And that is, see if I can move this so you guys can get a little bit of a better background there. But that is where, if you pinch it, sometimes it'll get 2 more branches out of there. This one only got 1, probably because it was getting crowded out by this side. But I'd actually pruned that this year, this spring. Pinched this one a couple times and pinched this one a couple times. And it just keeps shooting out more and more growth. I mean, compared to that other one that was just in here, that's what healthy growth should look like. That other one, like I said, until the rain started coming, it was just barely clinging on. But now it's got this main wound there, and now there's a little bit of a smaller wound there. This other branch coming off this way. Just kind of hoping that it evens out a little bit. And now, not that I would like to keep the ramification that I have, but now instead of just like a big, apex coming out here shading everything else out, I'm kind of hoping that the rest of it just kind of catches up. And then, like I said, in the yards and everything, these just kind of would be stretching up a little bit more towards the sun, and have just a little bit of a better look just to how that comes out of the trunk there.